Amanda's muted, everybody. She's not paying attention at all. There we go.
It's just one button, Amanda. It's just one button.
Anyway, welcome to the Top Shelf Dusters podcast this week. My name is Jesse. The New York Rangers are garbage, and I'm over it. Amanda, you can take it away from here.
He's not over it.
It's not working, Amanda.
Your volunteer job?
Absolutely. But obviously joined by Jesse and Cass.
The Bruins suck at sucking, apparently, because they beat the Hurricanes 5-1. So they're going to screw up their draft position just like the Patriots did. Can't wait for that.
Glad we could help with that anytime. And joined with
Yeah, the Dallas Stars retired their blackout jersey. It's over.
That's
This
miserable.
was the last year. But we're getting new ones, and I'm excited about it because of what I've heard from very reliable sources about what the new one's going to look like. So we'll see.
That'll be fun. I'm not a fan
Yeah.
that they are going to be retiring those. I really
Yeah.
like those, but
I'd
maybe-
love multiple alternates. That'd be
maybe
great.
I will be able to get one on the cheap. That'll be very nice.
Ross, here
maybe.
I come.
No, don't tell everyone.
Yes. So we're going to start off with some player updates. Edmonton's Leon Draisaitl, he's out day to day with an upper body injury. He was injured in a game against the San Jose Sharks on Thursday night. In the second period, he left the game. He did not return. Draisaitl appeared to be injured midway through that second period, skated gingerly to the bench before heading back to the dressing room. Head coach Chris Knoblauch said after the game that he had no update on the severity of the injury. Draisaitl leads the league currently with 52 goals on the season and is third in the league for points with 106. Additionally, for the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid is still out. He's been out since a collision on March 20th against the Winnipeg Jets. He's missed 7 games thus far, though he has traveled with the team on their road trip to Southern California. I believe that ends on Monday. They lost today, if I remember correctly, against the Kings, which is not something we're used to, right? Anyway. Well, I'm talking about them losing to the Kings.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
fair,
talking about.
fair.
McDavid was a limited participant in practice on Friday. Head coach Chris Knoblauch said that McDavid is expected to be back before the end of the regular season, which ends on April 16th for Edmonton against the San Jose Sharks. Additionally, the Edmonton Oilers' injuries are just plentiful. They are without defenseman Matthias Ekholm, John Klingberg, and Stuart Skinner on top of Evander Kane, who's been out all season.
One thing I'll add to this, I was listening to NHL on Sirius XM, whatever
Mhm.
that channel's called,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about McDavid. He went on the road trip,
Right.
And they talked about, like, why would you go on the road trip if you know you're not going to play? And they did this whole dissection of how players treat rehab, and I won't go too into detail, but
Mhm.
I thought it was a good point on, like, if he stays back, they said, like, he'd be there with a medical staff person who can skate, and maybe he'd skate on the ice with that one person trying to rehab, versus going on the road trip, going to the team practice on the road, being involved in practice and rehabbing that way. And I think it's a smart move for a player like McDavid, or any player really. You're rehabbing smarter by going on the road, even if you know you're not playing. So
Well, I guess that
interesting little tidbit.
kind of makes sense because you're still in the groove of the travel. You're still hanging out with the team. So that I would probably be doing that too if that were the case.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I saw, I think it was earlier this week, they showed a bunch of the injured Oilers, and it's Evander Kane, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Trent Frederick, and it's like that's not a bad group of guys to get back come playoff times.
Oh yeah.
Trent Frederick actually played his first game today for the Edmonton Oilers, so good to see him back and healthy. So he'll be good
Yeah.
for them. He'll add a little bit of grit to that team. Also, St. Louis has announced that Dylan Holloway will be out week to week with a lower body injury, but will most likely be back for the playoffs. Dylan Holloway was actually offer sheeted by the St. Louis Blues, taken away from the Edmonton Oilers. He signed a 2-year, $2.9 million AAV contract over the summer. This year so far in 77 games played, he has 26 goals, 37 assists for 63 points. I mean, what a steal for the St. Louis Blues. He's been outstanding for them, and they're gonna miss him. But hopefully he gets back. St. Louis has been on a freaking heater, and I love it. $45 in my bank account.
11
Let's
games
go.
in a row.
Beautiful.
Ridiculous.
Jim Montgomery, he was definitely the problem. Fuck me. I beat you to it, Ethan, you motherfucker.
No, I was actually going to say something else just because it's been called out. But I'm the guy who mispronounces names, but I'm not sure who this Dylan Holiday is that you just
Holloway.
spoke of. No, you definitely said Holiday, and everyone can
It's
rewind.
Dylan Holloway and Drew Holiday
I know what
for the
the
Celtics.
name is.
Slightly
I just had to say
inebriated with the
something.
night I've had.
That's got
Moving on.
right?
Moving on. And yes, Jim Montgomery, man, Boston. I say that honestly feeling for you, Cass.
Like, can we
'Cause,
all
like-
agree Joe Sacco will not be the head coach next year?
Yeah, without a
Please,
doubt.
Yeah.
please.
And hopefully Don Sweeney's not the GM.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing for Boston, and I get it because ever since Montgomery left Dallas, I always wish. I love Pete DeBoer. He's doing great things for Dallas, but man, I wish I had Jim Montgomery. But there's no way he's coming back here because of the way he left.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Reasonable.
moving on from that, the New York Islanders had this whole thing come out with Anthony Duclair, and he's stepping away for an extended period of time. And the head coach for the New York Islanders, Patrick Waugh, right?
He did it.
Right?
He did it.
Yeah. Patrick Roy said that this morning Anthony and I had a very good conversation, a very positive one. And Anthony asked me to take some time off and reflect. So I obviously agreed to that and will give him all the time that he needs. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There hasn't been a whole lot that comes out. That has come out. All that we do know is after one game recently, Waugh said he was god awful, referring to Duclair, and he had a bad game. That's why I didn't play him a lot. He's lucky to be in the lineup. It
He's
seems like
lucky to
there's
be
a
the coach.
clash. Yeah, it's the whole Patrick Waugh being the coach. It was really cool at first. Then he pulled the goalie when it was in their defensive end, and it's just gone downhill since. So
That might be up there with my hot take that they're going to be awesome with him as head coach, just like Lundqvist was better than Hasek or whoever. Oh, Brodeur, I think I said. So
Oh.
Yeah, you have a lot of good takes. Not as
Yeah.
much as Ethan, though.
that's true.
I do hope that Waugh stays the coach at least for one more game, because I told Jesse if, and we'll get there, but if Ovechkin scores against the Islanders tomorrow, it would be so poetic that it's a goalie from the Gretzky era that's the head coach of the team that the record's broken. I think it'd be cool. But we'll get there.
I don't think they're going to get rid of him, but yeah, we'll get there. Continuing with the conversation of head coaches, the Vancouver Canucks sounds like they are very determined to keep Rick Tocchet behind the bench for the team. His contract is, I believe it's expiring next year, and they want to get an extension going. But it doesn't. It makes sense to me as to why they would want to keep him. They've had a down year thus far this season. They're still in the playoff race. They're fighting for a wild card spot. But with the way that they played last season, I was expecting them to be a lot better than they currently are. But Tocchet is the current NHL Coach of the Year. the reigning Jack Adams winner, he has expressed focus on the playoffs, on trying to make the playoffs, not worried about his contract extension, though he continues to get asked questions about it. He wants to talk about the playoffs. What do you guys think about Tocchet in Vancouver?
I don't think he's the problem. I think you certainly look at extending him. Maybe this is crazy. A bridge deal for Tocchet as head coach. See what happens.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously had to navigate some interesting situations, such as JT Miller versus Elijah Pederson. Issues like Thatcher Demko just all of a sudden becoming garbage, like night and day.
That injury, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, Thatcher Demko, you just stopped playing well,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something he had to navigate.
Sure.
So the problems Vancouver's faced, and the fact that they were in the race as long as they were, I think he's a good coach. Just give him a little more time.
Yeah, with them, I mean, I feel like if the JT Miller, Elias Pettersson stuff didn't happen this year, they'd be a lot more under the radar, underperforming compared to what they did last year. But that just brought it to the forefront so much more. Same kind of thing. If Quinn Hughes was on a different team, if he was on the Rangers, if he was on the Red Wings, he'd get so much more press coverage. But because he's kind of buried in the Northwest Pacific up there, he doesn't really get. He definitely gets media, but he doesn't get as much as he should the way he plays.
Sure.
Here's a fun what if question
No,
before we move on. If JT Miller stays in Vancouver, do you think they're closer to a playoff push?
no.
I
think
think
they'd
with
be more worse.
I agree with that. I think the way that things have gone for the Vancouver Canucks this season, with all of the speculation around the whole JT Miller, I almost said that terribly. The whole JT Miller issue or whatever that may have been in the locker room. If he had stayed, I really can't foresee them being any better than they are currently. I feel like that would have brought down the entire locker room even worse.
But did they get better once that?
No, they got rid of the wrong guy.
I think they got worse. That's why I think maybe they're closer with JT Miller still there, even though JT Miller has performed better outside of Vancouver. If he's with Vancouver, I think Vancouver's closer. I don't know.
He definitely has been a godsend for the Rangers, but it's not like the Rangers are going to be doing anything anyway. So
somehow the Rangers got worse, if not stayed the same.
They've stayed the same. But
JT Miller got better.
JT Miller has been consistent throughout the season, though.
Yeah.
He hasn't really changed anything. So, but yeah, Vancouver's trying to keep Tocchet in. There was some article I was reading that said that he may have interest in Philly with John Tortorella being gone now. That would not be surprising to me if he ended up going that way. But I mean, we're gonna see how that plays out.
You've got a better chance in Vancouver.
Yeah, you do. But he's also got history with the Flyers.
Oh.
So,
Fair
I mean,
enough.
I could see that happening. And I don't really think that the Philly's too far off. They've got to figure out their goaltending situation. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Hitchcock has looked nasty.
Yeah.
Since Torts has left, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
So,
Amanda, did you see? I know you were on vacation, but did you see the fight?
The fights, absolutely. But this one's in particular is Chatfield, and there was a whole slew of opinions that were given. I know we have the video for it.
Yeah, I'm going to put that up right now. I haven't seen this. Oh, was this the one that where he gets thrown?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. He's fine. He's fine. Amanda, we can't hear you. I don't know why.
I can hear.
Oh,
I
can't
can
hear
too.
her. Anyway, give me 1 second on that. But yeah, I feel like he's fine. He shouldn't be hurt too badly. Still can't hear her. I don't know what the deal is.
I hear her fine.
Then
There
I
we
don't care if
go.
There
Jesse
we go.
can't hear me.
There we go.
Oh man. But anyways, like I understand the Capital fans' dismay. He doesn't have a helmet and getting slammed like that into the ice with the potential
Sure.
for extremely bad head injuries and God
Of
knows
course.
what else. And then they're going on Chatfield, who has no history of being a dirty player. But mind you, their own Tom Wilson has done similar things in the past.
I don't recall.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And then they're all like, just wait till Tom, because the Capitals and Canes play again on Thursday in
Nice.
Washington, which will right. And the amount of Caps fans online who are like, just wait, Wilson's going to take care of him. He'll be drinking through a straw. I'm like, Great.
let me give you my take real quick. And I rarely get super heated online when it's not about the Stars or like anti-Stars. But I've been so heated over people claiming that Chatfield should be, fined or suspended, all of this stuff. Heads up, look at the NHL rule book. If there's a fight that happens, you get 5 minutes for fighting. There are not rules within if you get into a fight, you can't do this or you can't do this. It's a fight. I'm sorry your helmet's off, and I'm sorry you got shellacked into the ice. Yeah, that's the risk you run when you get into a fight in the NHL. But it's so dumb.
And the other thing is, this wasn't the first fight of the third period. This is like one of the last fights of the third period, that all the fights were instigated by Capital players. It's not like the Canes went out looking to fight.
They were getting like destroyed in that game, weren't they?
Yes. I
Yeah.
think the final score was 5-1, 4-1.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. This was just their way of trying to throw the game somehow in their favor.
Didn't work.
No, none of it. It started with Tom Wilson, surprise, getting upset because he went to hit Aho, and when he hit Aho, it spun him, and so Aho's stick hit Wilson in the back of the knee,
Oh,
and that's what that's what sparked his little fit.
Boo-hoo.
The second one.
Yeah, and
The whole. Go ahead.
I think the third period ended with 20 minutes of penalties.
114 penalty minutes in the last 7 minutes and 2 seconds.
There you go.
That's insane.
With all the game misconducts so 20 penalties, excuse me, not minutes. 20 penalties resulting in the 114 minutes, but it was
perfect.
It was in a hissy fit is really the Canes social media put it as an A+ hissy fit that we're watching.
that's fair.
Exactly what it was.
The Carolina Hurricanes have a great social media team, and the Devils. I have to admit that.
Yeah. But yeah, Capital fans, get over it. Your guy got washed into the ice. It didn't end the way it could have, and even if it did, which thankfully his head didn't smack the ice, but if it did, there still wouldn't be any extra discipline because of the fight. It's not Chatfield's responsibility to make sure McMichael's head doesn't hit the ice. That's just how it is. Read the rule book. People read the freaking rule book.
I was just about to say, the NHL rule book is Googleable. You can Google it. It's a verb. It's a verb now. You can Google the NHL rule book and just download the PDF.
It's free.
There. It's free.
That's going to be our first episode for season 3. It's just us reading the rule book.
The 2025-2026 rule book.
Funny.
Exactly.
Moving on from stupidity.
That's never going to happen here.
That is the Carolina Hurricanes.
The NHL agreed to a deal with Rogers Communications. It's a 12-year, $11 billion Canadian media rights deal, which would extend their partnership through the 2037-2038 season when we'll all be old and dead,
Hopefully.
covering national rights across all platforms for NHL games in Canada. And that's one of those things that I think Canada has it pretty nice in that
They
but
could
I
watch
don't know.
all of their
Maybe-
teams.
Maybe there's some caveats. Maybe there are issues that I just don't know about because I'm not in Canada. But it's not like, oh, Bally Sports, oh, New England
Regional
Sports
networks.
Network,
Yeah.
MSN,
It
whatever.
sucks. I just had to pay $80 extra on Max to be able to get the Ovechkin game tomorrow for
See,
TNT. It sucks.
This is where ESPN Plus is great or Victory
Yeah.
Plus.
Yeah, so I have ESPN Plus because they're on TNT and not ESPN. I don't get it. So in order to watch,
Blackouts are awful.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm not allowed to say how I watch games. So
Yeah.
But that being said, 12 years, 11 billion with a B for the seven Canadian teams.
yeah.
That's wild. That's a big bill for
You know,
not even a quarter of the league.
It's bullshit that it's not 12 by 12 for easy math. Just for the record, should have just done it. It's what's another billion? You know.
Would have been easy.
Yeah.
Anyone have any other comments about this?
Nope.
Nobody lives in Canada here, so
It's if it was this much, it's going to be interesting to see what the next U.S. deal looks like.
Yeah, I think
with
but that's,
who?
It's I mean, they might just
With
extend
each-
E
ESPN.
Who knows? Yeah.
The
Or, yeah, I
ESPN
guess
the
ESPN's the one.
ESPN deal that they've got going on is pretty sweet, honestly, because
agree.
you could watch a lot of those games on ESPN Plus, and I was like
Mhm.
very hesitant about that initially. But they do allow you to watch a lot of games. You're not allowed to watch the ones that are on NHL Network, which I hate because sometimes I don't have NHL Network. There's no way for me to watch that. But aside from that
Legally.
and the blackouts, which are going to happen anyway, I'm a big fan of the ESPN Plus deal, and I think that they will get more, but that's not going to be for another 10 years or so.
It's I'm trying to do I don't want to do the math. Someone else can do it. But the ESPN deal with the NHL is 4.5 billion over 7 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
I mean, if you doubled
And I
7
think
to
we're
14 years, that's still less than Rogers.
Well, you figure that's the only sport up in Canada too. They don't have the baseball, the basketball, the football that they're fighting.
So
usually,
they get
you know?
paid more. Wouldn't that
Yeah.
make it easier for the NHL to like nickel and dime them?
No, if anything, I would think the communication companies are paying more money to the NHL. It's got them by the balls. You know what I mean? So if you want our product, you have to pay us more money. That's what I would think.
I see.
So
Well, let's move on because it's late. We're gonna talk some college news, college hockey news. First of all, the Frozen Four has been determined. It will be Denver versus Western Michigan and Penn State for the first time in their history making the Frozen Four. They will be facing Boston College. And personally, I'm for Boston College because of good old Jake Ottinger.
well, that sucks because Boston College is out and it's Boston University. But thanks.
Oh, just kidding. Then I'm for Penn State.
It is both Western Michigan and Penn State's first time in the Frozen Four. Great,
Oh.
good to see. Anyone but Denver.
Didn't they win it last year?
Denver, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've won 3 out of the last 4 years.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they've had that time.
I'm not too big on NCAA, so I should watch it more because there's a lot of good prospects in there.
It's a good product. You know, I really want to see Denver lose because Minnesota really needs Ziv Bouyem or whatever his name is for the defensive core because they are beat up right now.
Hold on. I'm for Boston University. I
Okay.
just mistyped it in the rundown. Jake Ottinger went to Boston University.
Oh,
not Boston
nice.
College.
Excellent. There
He
you go.
wants BU. Gotcha. Moving on.
BU, not BC.
Moving on with additional NCAA news, the New York Rangers signed Gabe Peralt to a 3-year, $2.825 million deal with an average annual cap hit of $941,000 and some odd dollars. He played his first game against, I don't remember who it was against. I'm sorry, but it was a couple days ago, and Rangers fans were pissed off because he accidentally deflected a puck past I think it was Jonathan Quick who was in net, and people were heated about it. So mad about it. But he played his first game less than I think it was 72 hours after Boston College was eliminated from the NCAA quarterfinals with a 3-1 loss to Denver. So they lost the game. He agreed to a contract, played his first game 3 days later.
Very cool for the kid.
Yeah.
He's a highly touted prospect for you guys, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about him, and he's like the changing of the guard, if you will. There's a lot of similarities or comparisons to Chris Kreider, who kind of had a similar journey into the NHL. Though he made his debut in the playoffs, and we're not making the playoffs. So, but yeah, there's a lot of high expectations for this kid, which is nice because we need people to not, they need to
something to
develop.
look forward to.
They got to develop. Jeez.
Colorado now has 2 Makars on their payroll. They signed Taylor Makar to a 1-year, $925,000 entry-level contract.
Are they
He really-
related?
They're
Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. He did a year at UMass Amherst, and then he said, "Screw this, I'm out," and he transferred over to UMaine. Actually, I'm sorry, he did 3 years at UMass Amherst where Kale played, and then he transferred this year to the University of Maine. 7th round pick in 2021 for Colorado. He's reporting to the Colorado Eagles. He has not played a game yet, but I don't think the hype's nearly as high for him. From what I hear from people that I know that went to UMass and keep their ear to the ground over there, I guess he left UMass because he wanted to kind of get away from his brother's name there with all that Kale has done at UMass with the national championship and his success at the NHL. And obviously, I mean, in UMaine this year, he played 38 games, 18 goals, 12 assists for 30 points. So, I mean, he's putting up good numbers, but it'll be interesting to see if it transfers over.
Do you think it was more of a family thing or legit belief in the talent?
I don't know. Like, I have no doubt, kind of like, who else did that a little while ago where they dragged their brother around? Was it Seth Jones and Caleb Jones? I feel like.
have been,
I have
yeah.
no doubt with a 7th round pick, the Colorado Avalanche probably threw the Makars a bone. But I mean, 30 points in 38 games for a defenseman is good numbers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he does with the AHL. I don't know if the Colorado Eagles are in the playoffs, the Calder Cup playoffs, or if
He's
not,
a
so.
forward, I believe.
Is he? Okay,
Yeah.
so I was way off. Either way,
But still, I mean, that's
yeah. I mean, that's still not bad. 30 points, 38 games. That's not bad at all. I guess I just kind of assumed he was a defenseman.
When I was looking up notes for this, there was an article that said it was like in big bold letters. It was like nepotism, and I'm just like, come on, guys, like it's just
yeah.
The Colorado Eagles are actually first in the Pacific in the AHL.
There you go. So
they have
he should get
clinched
some
their
games.
spot. Yeah. The next college player who was signed is one Ryan Leonard from Boston College, not Boston University. It is for sure Boston College. He played 37 games, had 30 goals, 19 assists, and ended his career there with a plus 30. And he actually scored his first NHL goal last night with the Washington Capitals, who signed him. So the Capitals signed him. He's played 3 games total, and in his 3rd game, he scored his first goal. So congrats to him.
I believe it was an empty netter too.
It was in fact an empty netter.
the most
But
important.
hey, it was funny because
Grab that puck.
Gretzky was obviously in the locker room for the Capitals, which that's our next topic. But he actually took time to congratulate Ryan Leonard on his first NHL goal, and even made like the joke, I'm sure it was a tough decision, but you got to get your first, and That's what you
Do
do.
what you got to do, right?
So
Um,
when you get you go from playing for Boston College just a few days ago, and then playing for the Capitals, and in the locker room after the game, having Wayne Gretzky tell you "good job on your first NHL goal." That's wild.
yeah, definitely lucky for him. I when I was reading about these guys, I think the about Perreault and Leonard, there were a couple teammates that followed that showed up. I think they played the Bruins, right? Was that who they were playing?
Yeah, they played
showed
the
up.
Bruins.
They showed up in Boston. A couple of his teammates from Boston College, and then they drove down to New York to see Perreault make his debut down there as well. So I thought that was really a cool tidbit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Ovi talk.
So we got some stuff to talk about here. Last night, Ovi scored 2 goals. Has now tied Wayne Gretzky at 894. It happened. It will happen. It's gonna happen. Couple of those goals were kind of like soft though. Like the one, I think it was the one against Swayman. He basically had like a tap in. It was kind of ridiculous, but good for him. The last 2 were snipes. I will say that. Hoping he breaks it tomorrow, or whenever he plays the Carolina Hurricanes, that'd be great. But now here's my question for you, because I was thinking about this. Right, I believe he's 39. Right,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna finish. Let's say he finishes with 895 goals this year. He breaks the record by 1. Is there any world where he hits 1,000 goals?
No.
He's got
No.
40. He's got 40 goals this year. He's got over 40 goals this year. So we're talking about 3 more seasons.
No, I think he's done after next season. I think he goes to the KHL.
Yeah, because his contract ends next season, right? So I think
Yeah.
that
After
I don't
next
think
season,
he's going to extend. I don't think Washington's going to extend him or want to extend him, and I don't think he's going to want to play anywhere else. So
I don't know. I feel like if he's putting up anything over 25 goals, and now that Washington isn't a lottery team and they're good and they're probably going to be good for a little while, I can see him sticking around kind of as long as his body lets him. He has been healthy for most of his career, so as long as he stays healthy, I would love to see him hit 4-digit goals.
I think it's going to be
doable.
the opposite as what Jesse said. Jesse said the Capitals won't want to sign him. I think it's all up to Ovechkin. I think if he wants to keep playing in the NHL, they'll do like a 1-year, 2-year deal depending on what he wants. But Ovechkin has said he wants to end his career in the KHL. Now, does that mean he's going to play like Yager and just
be
play
63, no,
way
like 50,
long?
54, right? Probably not. I don't think that'll happen at all. But we'll
I think it's
see.
I think it's up to him. If he wants to stay with the Capitals, I think they sign him.
The man
for a
doesn't
1
get
or 2 year
hurt.
Deal.
The man doesn't get hurt.
Crazy.
Well, he did get hurt.
Yeah, but I mean,
He also
you know,
came back like 2 weeks early from that injury too. and he
Yeah,
broke
it
his
doesn't
leg or
affect
something.
him.
he's drinking
It
a lot
doesn't
of
affect
milk.
him.
That's got to be what it
Yeah.
is. Or maybe the Subway that he eats before every game. I have no idea.
And flaming hot.
And
Cheetos.
flaming hot Cheetos. Jesus.
One thing I've seen a lot online, people asking, even though, like, hey, tune into this podcast because we've talked about this, but he does not want to score 895 on an empty net.
Would
And
you?
If you watched the game last night, no, I'm not blaming him. I think that's great. But last night, you could see if you were watching the game, he removed himself.
He didn't go
from
out. Yeah.
the possibility. Yeah. So if anyone's out there still wondering, no, he will not score it on an empty net.
Did you
One
see-
other thing
I was just gonna say, did you see the price for the tickets for
Crazy.
tomorrow's game at IBS Arena? Absurd.
the highest
I know
price
it's UBS.
you'll ever pay to see a game there.
I know it's UBS. Everybody.
Okay, just making sure.
One other thing I do want to throw in, which is really cool. So on his 894th goal, which tied Gretzky, Ovechkin also became the #1 most game-winning goals with 136 game-winning goals, passing one Jaromir Jagr, who had 135.
Nice.
So,
That's a
pretty
cool stat. I
cool.
like that.
Pretty cool stat.
Yeah. Ties the record for goal
Anything else?
scoring, surpasses the game-winning goals record that Yager has. That's a cool thing. I like that.
I think there was something else about X number of games with multi-goal games, and I can't find it, but there was something else with it.
He also did it 894 win one game less than Gretzky. So yeah.
No, that's the other thing that I see online.
Oh, is that not true? Is that wrong?
No, everyone just looks up how many games Gretzky played, and we talked about this on the podcast.
Oh, are
2
you
weeks
talking
ago.
about the WHA one?
No. Gretzky played 1,487 games. And that's the number everyone's looking at. But he scored his 894th goal 9 games before he was done. So it's actually 1,479 games.
So what you're saying is his last 9 games he didn't score a goal, and he's like, I'm not going to make it to 10. I quit.
I'm saying he didn't score in his last 9 games, and that's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So everyone's saying Ovechkin could still do it in the same amount of games. That is wrong.
Well, it's not his
He's already
fault that
passed.
Wayne sucked for his last 9 games.
It's
So,
just
I
what it
mean,
is. It is what it is.
yeah. Now you're going to start telling me that doesn't really count because the goalies are bigger this generation, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't give me that
But-
bullshit.
But what
of
you're going to
story.
say
Numbers
he
don't
scored
lie.
his 894th goal 9 games later than it happened?
Yeah, because that's what the numbers say. I mean,
No, that is not what the numbers say.
did he get paid for those 9 games? Yes, then he played them. End of story.
But he didn't score those goals
Doesn't matter.
in that many games. He
Doesn't
did it
matter.
sooner. He did it
It's
faster.
it's not how many games you scored a goal in, it's games played. He still played in those games. You know what I mean?
So okay,
it's
so
like
Ovechkin
you would have
has to
to-
retire after he scores that 895.
No, because he's going to score 1,000. I've said that.
But no, but you retire, and then it's how
No,
many
that
games you
at
play
that
after
point,
that,
instead of
whatever.
having a games played category, you'd have games with a goal scored category. Like, that
It's
doesn't
about
make
how
any
many
sense.
games did you?
This
did
is
it
such
take
a
you to
Dallas
score?
Stars fucking caveat. It's not even
I'm the
funny.
one doing
Unreal.
math here.
Unreal.
Jesse,
Ethan
please
Math
tell me you understand
strikes
what I'm
again.
saying.
I get where
Please,
you're
Jesse.
coming from. I get it. I
Like,
understand.
if you're asking someone how many games did it take you to score 894 goals, Gretzky would say 1,480 or 79. That's how many games it took him.
Your math's still wrong.
Before we continue on the math discussion that I dropped out of high school for, we're very close to the end of the regular season, fellas. This is the home stretch. We currently have 7 teams that have clinched: Washington, Winnipeg, Dallas, Vegas, Carolina, Toronto, and Colorado. 5 teams that are currently eliminated: San Jose, Chicago, Nashville, Seattle, and Anaheim. The New York Rangers are going to be on that list very soon.
We do have to add Tampa to clinch.
Oh, yes, Tampa did clinch
Tampa,
today.
Florida
Yep.
clinched, and Boston and Philly are out.
Oh, is that official now?
Official.
No,
Oh.
Florida didn't.
Yeah, they did. Well,
Oh.
look, but go ahead.
The potential matchups for these playoffs are pretty. They're very similar in the West, I feel, as to what we've seen over the last couple of years. I'm pulling up the standings right now because I'm foolish. But it looks like.
Did you say Boston eliminated?
Yes.
Okay.
But it looks like in the East we're gonna see, as of right now, as it stands, Washington would play the Montreal Canadiens, which is crazy to even fathom. Toronto would play the Ottawa Senators. That would be a pretty cool matchup to see. Tampa Bay would be playing Florida. Carolina would be playing New Jersey. The Canadiens being in a playoff spot is just wild to me.
You just you mean Canadiens,
The
not
Canadiens.
Canadian
Yes,
teams.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
As in the West, we would be seeing the Winnipeg Jets play the Minnesota Wild as it stands. The Vegas Golden Knights would be playing the St. Louis Blues. Dallas would be against Colorado. Kings, once again, would be playing the Edmonton Oilers in the first round. So these matchups have been pretty similar over the last over what we've seen over the last couple of years. I just really want to see the Kings beat the Oilers. I do not want to see another shellacking from the Oilers against the Kings.
And they did that tonight. 3-0. Kings beat the Oilers.
I did see that. Yeah, but they don't have Draisaitl. They don't have McDavid. They don't have a bunch of key guys. So I don't really want to look into that too much.
Here's something interesting for that matchup. The Kings won in overtime in their first matchup against the Oilers this season. The Oilers then beat the Kings 1-0 in their second matchup. And then tonight, the Kings won 3-0. They play one more time on the 14th.
Okay. So that'll be sorry, go ahead, Kaz.
I was going to say, just for clarification, Florida Panthers clinched because Columbus lost and New York Rangers lost. So
Thanks for the reminder. I appreciate it.
problem.
Yeah.
Just keep on getting a better draft pick. That's all it's about.
It does. We're going to be mid.
Join me.
No, you will have a much better opportunity at a better draft pick than the Rangers will.
Good.
Unless they traded that away, which
I don't
that's possible.
think they did, but it's possible. But yeah, what matchups are you guys wanting to see?
As someone in the West, I love the idea of Winnipeg and Colorado taking each other out in the first round. And that's very possible currently, because I believe the Jets lost to Utah. Is that correct? They did. They lost 4-1. So as of right now, the Dallas Stars control the number 1 seed. We play Winnipeg.
I don't have
extra
it. They just
time.
control it.
Correct. We control it. We play the Jets one more time, and we have one game in hand. So we could take the number 1 seed if we play our cards right. Of course, we blow it against Pittsburgh today, but I'd love to see Winnipeg versus Colorado take each other out.
We know what happened last year, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Kaz?
I would love to see Ottawa fucking spank the shit out of Toronto.
That would be hilarious,
great.
dude.
Just as a Bruins fan, like it sucks that the Bruins can't smack the shit out of them, so someone has to take that. And I would love to see Brady Tkachuk do it, and Linus
Ullmark,
because he's done
yeah.
it. So, so.
However, the concept of a Florida Panthers Ottawa Senators matchup would be cool. The Battle of the Tkachuk.
The Battle of the Tkachuk.
I think it's too far out of the way. I mean, with Florida's 6 points out from the top seed. So
yes.
And they played the same amount of games. It's almost impossible at this point.
Yeah.
But,
They both need to make it. So Ottawa beat not Tampa, Toronto, and then Florida beat Tampa. No, don't do that. Never mind.
Well, I mean, the home stretch is here. What are we at? Most teams have played 76-ish games.
Yeah.
My God, I can't believe we're only about 6 or 7 games away from the end of the season, guys. Jeez.
So, what about you, Jesse? What's the matchup you're most excited about possibly seeing?
I want to see Winnipeg and Minnesota. I don't know why. I'm rooting for the Jets, man. I really want the Jets to do well. If the Rangers don't make it,
the Jets will obliterate Minnesota.
If the Rangers don't make, I need somebody to give me hope, because I don't have any hope for any of my teams right now, and I feel like the
Winnipeg Jets.
Yes,
they're
the
ones.
They're the ones. I know. I don't know why. I can't root for the Kings. That'll never happen. I'm sorry, I can't root for your Stars. That's not going to happen. There's no one in the East that I could even fathom. Not the Canes. Fuck the Canes.
So, getting with the Canes, Amanda said she's looking forward to another Devils versus Canes because of the Hall of Hate. So that's such a typical Carolina thing to say. Like, you guys have no life. You have a petty rivalry against a fourth liner that doesn't play every game.
She's very upset about that.
Brutal with her stupid Taylor Swift
bracelet.
I mean, Amanda, what are you gonna do if the Devils just sweep?
She just left. She had enough.
Her mic's not working.
I hope Paula gets the series clinching goal.
That would be
That would be-
hilarious, dude.
That'd be
That would be
insane.
poetry.
But
It's going to be interesting next week. Our next episode. I mean, we'll have a pretty clear picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
on where
know.
we're at.
We'll know.
Oh, Amanda's back. Amanda, what are you gonna do if the Devils sweep the Canes and Hala scores the game-winning goal in Game 4?
Her-
she
Not
said,
well.
Her
"I'm
mic's
gonna
still not
cry.
working,
I'm gonna become a Devils fan." Wow. Okay.
Okay.
You and Jesse both.
Sick.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm shocked Calgary and Vancouver fell out of it the way they did, but and I'm shocked at the Blues. The Blue man, I don't want the Blues in round 1 or 2, to be honest.
I don't. Calgary doesn't surprise me being where they are. Vancouver does, though. Vancouver is very surprising to me.
You thought the Blues would be ahead of Calgary
I did.
this season?
I did.
No.
Once Montgomery was hired, sure. But Montgomery, I don't really like his track record in the playoffs, though. You know,
Well,
it was up 3-1. He blew it. He was up 3-1. It went to Game 7 overtime. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I hope it continues that way. Because the one thing you don't want is a hot team in the playoffs.
I
Look
just
at the
need them to make
2012
playoffs.
Kings.
That's it.
Don't talk about the Kings, man. I know you said 2012, but still, don't talk about the Kings.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Congratulations, Ovechkin. You did it.
Not yet. He's got to
Not
win.
yet,
He's got to take it, and he will.
Oh,
Ilya Sorokin's like sweating balls right now.
I mean,
do you guys think it's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Russian on Russian love. Does Ilya Sorokin just go, here you go, score on me?
I
But
would you want to be the guy?
just for the record, literally the record, on NHL.com, Ovechkin's won right now because he's played one game less. So, all right, and that's it for today.
Wait, Jesse. To your question though, that's a good question. I was thinking about it today, and I think while it would suck initially, it would be overall cool because anytime that record is looked up, your name as the goalie who let that goal in, you're also going to be remembered.
Really?
I wouldn't want to
Who
be
did Wayne
remembered
score
like
on
that.
to break Gordie Howe's record. Thank you. And that's what we'll end on tonight.
Well, that does it for us this week. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/ Crashnet Hockey now, actually. You can also follow us on Twitter at Top Shelf Dusters. Email us topshelfdusters@gmail.com. Amanda's mic she's giving us a thumbs up. So I think that's it for us. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next week and enjoy the rest of the season until it's over.
Go Stars.
Don't go Stars. Bye.